First things first, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the Smiley Morris Network for being the first person to guess in the last video that I got 2 out of 3 pros. Now, I said I'd only feature the first person to get it right, but here we go, just because a bunch of other comments who also got it right. Anyways, update man on who got into the King of the Ring for Team Ring Domination. As you guys saw in the last video, I was like, hey, the first winner was supposed to be Angel, but I didn't get a reply from him, so I messaged this other guy called Daniel. Then I didn't get any response from Daniel, so then somebody replied to the comment that I made to Daniel saying, hey, if Daniel doesn't reply, accept me. And I'm like, hey, you know what? You replied at the right time, you're at the right place. You can go ahead and send the request. And then I didn't get a message from him either. So then I posted that video up. And Angel saw the video and obviously saw that I said, hey, Angel was supposed to be the guy to join for Team Ring Domination. And he was like, hey, I didn't get any notification, which was weird because I did post up that comment. So I told him to send the request. He got in, and that's it. He got his first WrestleMania 33 card in Shinsuke Nakamura, and also his first Ultimate card in Dolph Ziggler. And then after Angel got in, I think I got a message from Daniel from Twitter or YouTube, I don't quite remember, where it was like, hey, I finally saw your comment, but by then it was too late. So make sure to check your notifications, and also follow me on Twitter. That way, if I decide to go ahead and pick winners on Twitter rather than YouTube, because too many people don't reply on YouTube when I pick winners, then you're set because you already follow me. And on top of that, sometimes I post videos on there that I don't post up on YouTube. So that aside, I finally trained my second Dean Ambrose card, joined the King of the Ring, maxed him out. The problem is, though, the King of the Ring was going just fine in the beginning, although I was forgetting to energize every couple of matches, and then I went to sleep for way too freaking long. I woke up and I was like, holy shit, I slept that long? And now I'm at like 7 and 19 in the King of the Ring, so if I make it to the contender brackets, I'm just gonna make it like barely, maybe at number 8 or something like that. And also, 3 of you guys are in this King of the Ring. We've got Seth Rollins, who, if it wasn't for his picture, I would have thought that he was a bot. And then Perry for Life 96. And the biggest one yet, Kevin. Now, if you guys don't know who Kevin is actually the guy that I censored out in the glitch video. The guy who had Pro Brock Lesnar before anybody else. He posted up a comment on that video saying, hey, you know, that's me. And this is him in this King of the Ring. Now, of course, now it's not an issue because, you know, everybody's got Pro Brock now, or everybody that, you know, was gonna get Pro Brock got Pro Brock, so it's not an unfair advantage at this point. But yeah, man, what are the chances? Because I was just talking to his teammate yesterday about the whole situation on Twitter, and then I'm in a King of the Ring with him. Now, the funny thing is I was gonna show you guys that somebody in the King of the Ring chat was like, hey, I shattered the testicle recently, and then he said human, by the way. I don't think you need to clarify that you're a human after saying that. I don't think a bot in the game would tell us he shattered the testicle. I don't think, you know, robots or CPUs have testicles. And initially, I didn't even realize that this was the same Kevin typing this, so Cat Daddy might have went over to his house and pop a powerbomb his left nut. So anyways, I wanted to talk about the Superstar shakeup once again for the 3rd time, although this might be the last time. I want to go over what happened on Raw and some of what happened on SmackDown. You see, I'm recording this during SmackDown, so I won't know everybody that gets drafted to SmackDown, just the first ones. So let's start with Raw. The biggest thing I thought was that AJ Styles did not get drafted to Raw, so he stays on SmackDown unless they do some crazy thing on SmackDown where somebody actually leaves SmackDown during SmackDown, but I don't think that's going to be the case, because on Raw last night, we just saw superstars moving to Raw and nobody moving out of Raw. So AJ is staying on SmackDown, and I think that's freaking great. Like I said, with Brock and Roman on Raw, I think it would have been pretty difficult for AJ Styles to capture the Universal Championship there, so I think it's a good thing that he stays on SmackDown. And with him staying on SmackDown, I think we could see Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson move to SmackDown. But I just recently saw a tag team now move to SmackDown, and with them moving to SmackDown, I'm not sure if Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are also going to get drafted to SmackDown or not. We'll see. But then we got an actual move to Raw in The Miz and Maurice. Now, I'm fine with this, but for those of you who wanted to see The Miz go back to that main event scene, fight for the championship, unless it's in a fatal 4-way or triple threat match or multi-man match, good luck with that. See, I was worried for AJ Styles when it comes to the main event scene on Raw, but when it comes to The Miz, his chances, I feel, are pretty low. I think his chances of main eventing on SmackDown, facing off for the championship there, would have been more likely. So I think with him on Raw, he's likely going to be used in the mid-card, maybe for the Intercontinental Championship. Once again, fight for that, maybe go back to the tag team scene or something like that, but I don't see him going back to the main event, unless, like I said, it's in a triple threat or multi-man type match for the championship, just like the Elimination Chamber match that it was in. And then pretty much immediately after, Dean Ambrose moved to Raw with the Intercontinental Championship. And right when that happened, I was like, alright, that means one of two things is going to happen. Kevin Owens either moves to SmackDown with the US title, or he doesn't move to SmackDown with the US title, but Chris Jericho beats him at Payback for the title, and Jericho gets drafted to SmackDown where he gets beat by whoever there, and then he can go on and tour with Fozzy. But of course, today we learned that Kevin Owens was indeed drafted to SmackDown, so that's also something I predicted if Dean Ambrose was going to move to Raw. Somebody in the comments section on the video where I talked about the Superstar shakeup was like, hey, I can see Dean Ambrose moving to Raw so they can reunite the Shield. And I replied back saying, if Dean goes ahead and moves to Raw, then I think that means Kevin Owens goes to SmackDown, and that's what happened today. So, I think that's a nice trade, and also, if Seth Rollins, of course, and Roman Reigns don't move to SmackDown, then that means for sure we're going to see the Shield reunite either on Raw or a pay-per-view sometime soon. And afterwards, we got Curt Hawkins to Raw. I mean, he wasn't going anywhere on SmackDown, so I don't really see him going anywhere on Raw, but I might be wrong. We'll see what happens there. Chances are he'll just be used as, enhancement talent. Afterwards, Bray Wyatt to Raw. Well, I guess that confirms that Randy is retaining the title at Payback. That was a pretty short reign for Bray Wyatt. I thought maybe there was a slight possibility that Bray Wyatt could take the title back, but with his move to Raw, I think that's out of the picture now, especially if Brock doesn't move to SmackDown, which I don't think he will. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Bray Wyatt's career is kind of going to be like Kane's career. Kane early on won the title. He held on to the title until his first title defense where he lost it. Bray Wyatt, same thing. And if we look at both their win-loss records, it's pretty much the same thing. Whenever Kane would go ahead and feud against, another main eventer, he would lose like 90% of the time or 80% of the time. And it's the same case here with Bray Wyatt. Some people like to compare Bray Wyatt to The Undertaker, and I can see, some similarities. But honestly, I think Bray and Kane, judging by, how they win and lose matches, their feuds and all that, I think they're more comparable. And I see Bray Wyatt having a career like Kane. I think the biggest thing Bray Wyatt might have in common, well, that's not really something in common. I think Bray might just have the opposite of The Undertaker's streak at Wrestlemania. They could go with that because he still hasn't won at Wrestlemania. I don't think it's a really good idea because, for a main event guy to lose that much, it's not that great for him. But then again, Big Show also lost a ton at WrestleMania. But maybe we see Bray Wyatt just have this streak at Mania where he just loses every single time because so far he hasn't won a single WrestleMania match. But anyways, moving on, Apollo Crews is on Raw. Alright, he's probably just there, to add to the mid-card on Raw. Kalisto, same thing. And then Heath Slater and Rhino, I'm for it. It's a nice change for the tag team division. Alexa Bliss to Raw. So that was proved to be correct, of course, here. She's on Raw, so I'm expecting Charlotte to go to SmackDown. I just hope that they don't also draft Sasha Banks to SmackDown because I think those two should be separated. If you don't want to send Charlotte to SmackDown, then you can send Sasha Banks to SmackDown, but not both. At least that's what I'm hoping doesn't happen. Mickie James to Raw. Now, I didn't expect this. But that's pretty cool. So you're going to get to see Mickie back on Raw. And now moving over to the SmackDown side, like I said, we've got Kevin Owens on SmackDown. And with that move, something that was expected is Sami Zayn to join him. Because that's part of their story. Wherever the other one goes, the other one follows. So I kind of expected that with Kevin Owens. And they did this last year as well with the draft. Kevin Owens was moved to Raw. And then Sami Zayn was also drafted to Raw. So with Kevin Owens moving to SmackDown, I think this was expected. And then we also got Epico and Primo. Now this was what I was talking about earlier, with them moving to SmackDown, a heel tag team, going over to SmackDown. I think that reduces the chances of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson also moving over. But who knows, it might still happen. I hope it happens. And also, Jinder Mahal has moved to SmackDown. I think it just adds to the mid-card. And that's pretty much it for now. Like I said, I'm recording this during SmackDown, so I don't have all of the people that have been drafted or will be drafted. But I will say that I think either Charlotte or Sasha Banks will be drafted, as I mentioned in the last video. And I hope it's not both. And I don't think Roman is going to go to SmackDown. I think he stays on Raw. Oh, and also, I think we might just hear a, well, it's the Big Show on SmackDown. So yeah, basically, I think Big Show is also going to be drafted to SmackDown. Anyways, that is pretty much it as far as my thoughts on everybody getting drafted to Raw, to SmackDown. I mean, last night, it really seemed like Raw was just destroying the SmackDown roster, but it's because we just saw people moving over to Raw, and we didn't see anybody moving over to SmackDown, so of course it's gonna look like that, but I'm glad that AJ stays on SmackDown. Now watch them pull a swerve on us, and AJ somehow gets drafted towards the end of the show to Raw. Now, I don't think that's gonna happen. Now, that aside, I've got to focus on this King of the Ring, get some energy cards, energized for every single match that I can, so I can make it back to the contender brackets without shattering a testicle. So wish me luck, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can click the like button down below, and if there's any recent topic or WWE news that you want me to cover in the next Supercard video, mention it in the comment section, and if it gets enough thumbs up, I'll feature your comment in the next video and talk about it. And with that said, I'm out guys, see ya!